Hello, my name is Camila Prieto and my partner is Juliet Munoz. The first transaction of this week was pound euro. The second transaction was US dollar and yen. The third transaction was a dollar and euro, and the last transaction was dollar and Canadian dollar.
This will be all about the James rise, the decision of the PEC, the Canada debt, the effect of Europe economy, and maybe Volkswagen, a little of Deutsche Bank, and as whole with the Brexit. Probably with this information you can identify who lost and who won for the decision for a PEP decision. The first transaction of the week was between pound euro. The news that we used to make this transaction was that says United Kingdom shouldn't get any favors in Brexit deal, obtained to Bloomberg. The news played an intervention of the Mario Draghi, but who is he? He is an Italian economist and the president of the European Central Bank, and his opinion is very important for the relevance of his position. Well, he talked about economy and monetary union respect to the decision of the countries and European Union. He said that they had created a task force and economic reforms because the union had a problem difficult pace. That it was responsibility to the countries like Germany because it had a fiscal space and this can be used for the region's ground. About United Kingdom, he said that it countries they shouldn't use the benefits the related ones to the labor force while they are with the negotiation of exit. But for this transaction, released a short because it is possible to interpret that the European Union it had a problems at the policy to stimulate the growth. And in addition, in other sources, one warns that Islam interest rate also couldn't, and that United Kingdom also has them with the Brexit everyone hasn't seen according to what he said because I tried that stop it obtaining benefits while it goes away.
The second transaction of the week was a dollar yen, and the notice we used to make this transaction was yen raised drop as traders switched focus on the Europe's banking woes. This one talked about the yen rebounded, erasing an early decline as stocks fell in Dutch bank. AG dropped to a fresh record. The research in the money for the relative safety of the Japanese currency showed the post-US presidential debate effect inherent from Asian markets didn't last long in the European day. Also, the renewed concerns over the health of the continent's bank sector and the prospect of the US fines for Volkswagen AG came into play, reducing the yen's fall. Lee Harman said that there's a concern about the health of the European banks. Risks are seeked to the upside for the yen. So, for this day, the yen rose 0.1% to 100.22 per dollar as of the 9:23 a.m. in New York, having weakened as much as 0.7% after the first U.S. presidential debate on CNN between Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump that showed that the 62% of viewers say that Clinton won the contest, compared with the 27% who gave the advantage to Trump. So according to this information, the yen's fall will reduce, showing an increase in behavior for today or for the day of the transaction, making a long transaction the most convenient for today. However, at the moment of the transaction, the currency started to show a decreased behavior, and we couldn't get gains with this transaction.
For the third transaction of the week, we use euro and dollar, and this transaction was based in OPEC agrees to first oil output cut in 8 years, obtained to Bloomberg. Well, about OPEC, that is the Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries that have the 40, 43% of participation in the market and the 81% of the stock in the world. And although the United States and any country in Europe belong to this organization, its decision affects us. The news explained that the countries in OPEC announced that the production of oil will down to 30 million barrels per day. And though they criticize with regard to that the excess supply will remain until 2018, but that will not to stimulate the rise in the price. In the United States, up 5% in New York, and this decision stimulate the price in New York. In other sources in the United States this day spoke about the spending by in German countries with a tax for population and the Deutsche Bank that has problem with penalty imposed for the United States and the problem in the Euro banking sector in general will release along because the euro was cheaper and when because the dollar also affect for the decision not OPEC don't have problem with the euro and not problem with the eurozone.
The last transaction of the week was dollar Canadian dollar, and the notice we used to make this transaction was Canada debt strength to nearly 1 week high built by the OPEC deal. This one talked about the Canadian dollar strength against the dollar counterpart on Thursday, buoyed by a deal by the major oil producers to limit output. So gains for the loonie followed a 0.7% advantage on Wednesday. Its biggest is nearly 4 weeks after the Organization of the Petroleum Exporting Countries agreed to limit crude output at its policy meeting in November. So the oil prices stabilized as investors questioned whether the agreement to curb production would be enough to rebalance a heavily oversupplied market. U.S. crude prices were up 0.32% at $47.20 a barrel. So that's why we decided to make along with this transaction, taking into account the Canadian dollar strength against the dollar because of the stabilization of the oil prices and the agreement of the OPEC to limit crude output. So also the Canadian economy is expected to have a growth by 0.3%, which will reinforce expectation that it rebounded in the third quarter after contracting the second, and this is another argument to realize along for this transaction this week.